Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of social media writing. Hopefully you all had a good last week starting to learn about social media writing and the various platforms of social media. This week we're going to just jump right into LinkedIn. Now LinkedIn is the resume version of social media platforms and is the most useful in terms of jobs and finding jobs. Increasingly, jobs are asking for LinkedIn profiles. And if you have applied for any jobs recently or this summer, you may have found that you were asked for a LinkedIn profile. So it may be that you already have a LinkedIn profile, and that's great. And if you do, wonderful. If you don't, that's also wonderful. You have an opportunity here to create one. If you already have one, you have the opportunity to revise and make sure it really follows the checklist that I will be providing, or that's provided in this module, for you to be following on best practices for a LinkedIn profile. Interestingly, last semester I had a student graduate, and she had created a LinkedIn profile as part of this class, and actually ended up getting a job offer based off her LinkedIn profile. They found her, they sent her a message through LinkedIn and said, we saw your profile and we saw what you've done and what you're interested in, and we'd invite you to apply for a job with us. And she did, and she got it. And so when she graduated in May, she had a full-time job waiting for her, all based off her LinkedIn profile. So there are plenty of examples out there of that. And so just so that you are aware that that they can happen, that increasingly recruiters are using LinkedIn to find people. So by the end of this module, you're going to understand better about LinkedIn, and then you're going to have an opportunity also to create your own LinkedIn profile, and that'll be the final assignment on Sunday. Again, some links do not open in Canvas, so if you just click the link, the white text at the top of the screen, you should be able to open that. If not, let me know and I can send you a direct link. Again, you're welcome to disagree with the content in these readings. Again, I post readings that I think are helpful to you, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you agree with all of it. If you already have a resume, sometimes that makes it easier to copy and paste in pieces of your resume. But LinkedIn profiles are different than resumes. They're different in many ways, including that they have much more of like a profile summary than your resume is going to have, and they're usually much more detailed. So just because you have a resume, do not just copy and paste the whole resume in and think that you're good to go. You're not, because there are things on your LinkedIn that your resume are not going to have. Usually when I teach this class as a full semester-long course, you do both a resume and a LinkedIn. Due to the nature of only having 9 weeks, we are not doing the resume. But if you would still like someone to look over your resume, i.e. me, I'd be more than happy to look at your resume and give you some feedback on that. Okay, so this week is when you get in here on our week 2 overview and recordings and readings, you will see this recording will be posted. They're LinkedIn for students and include specific examples. Please skim this article. It's a long one, but it gives some really good advice for creating LinkedIn profiles for students, and is one that I think is absolutely one that everyone should read. That's why it's there, but skim it. There is a checklist provided. This is provided by LinkedIn about checklists of best practices for LinkedIn specific to students, and we'll go over that in just a moment, but I want you to go through that checklist, whether you are creating one from scratch or you already have one. Go through the checklist and make sure you have all the things on that checklist. That's how I'm going to be grading your LinkedIns on Sundays. How to use LinkedIn, it's a YouTube video, and then this link has a whole bunch of different student examples, and I want you to choose 2 of them and look at how they created. Now, some of them are better than others. The first 2 that are listed are really good. Several of the other ones after that are not as much. Now, again, these are recommended readings. They're not required readings, but there's examples of profile summaries. That's where people really seem to struggle, is what do you put in that profile summary. So anyway, I provide you some examples that you can go read if you would like to. Advice for what to include or not include. Advice for college students using LinkedIn. and then just more examples of LinkedIn profiles. So LinkedIn is our focus this week. So what I want to do really quickly is I want to go through this checklist. And so hopefully that switched. Okay, so this is the LinkedIn profile checklist. Here we have an example. You want to make sure that you have some kind of photo. Now this should be a headshot. So many times I see people with LinkedIn profiles that have like a group shot, and there'll be like 20 people in the picture, and you're like, who is this person? We're looking at LinkedIn as your way of getting a job, as your way of finding contacts to potentially get jobs. So you want to have a headshot. You want to be, you should be able to see your face. A direct on into the camera like this one is, where the person's looking straight forward, is often a good way to go. In this case, the background is blurry. That's fine. It's also fine if it wasn't. But you definitely want your head to be the main focus. If you don't have a shot like that, have someone go take a picture on your phone of that, or take a selfie and get some kind of shot. In general, you want to be more professionally dressed as well in that headshot. So then you'll have your name, and then you'll have a headline. And in this case, his headline is Econ Major and Aspiring Financial Analyst. Oftentimes people will put what their major is: English major, history major, etc., etc. You choose what you want to put there. You don't have to put what you're looking for unless you want to. You can just put your major is just fine. And then you'll have like where they go to school. Now this is the summary, okay? You have to have a summary. Often they're written in first person. I'm a senior. This person's a senior at Berkeley, looking at da-da-da-da-da. You are, or not. If you want to be more general, you can. You can say I'm an English major and I'm studying digital writing and social media writing, and I'm interested in a career in social media writing, and that works. You can also talk about classes you've taken if you want. This is really just a summary, overall summary of what you're interested in. The student that got a full-time job was interested in education, although she was not an education major, and so she had put that she was a senior majoring in English, interested in teaching, and so the job that she got was actually to teach full-time. So there's a lot of options out there. You can include what you want to include. You'll see some of the examples that I posted. People have like, I'm a senior majoring in business. Yes, that does give you a summary. It's not a very interesting summary. So I would suggest that you add in a little bit more detail. My LinkedIn, which you will find on LinkedIn when you go, just look for my name and you will find my profile, says pretty much that I am a professor. I'm interested in digital media and social media writing. Here's some of the other things I'm interested in, and that's what it has. It's just a paragraph, couple sentences. Okay, then we go into experience. This would be your job experience, but it can also be volunteer experience if needed. If you haven't really had any jobs before, which is fine, maybe you put volunteer experience there. And usually you'll have what your job title was or what your volunteer title was, what company or place that you volunteered for, and then pretty much what you did. So, and you can see examples there. Organizations, were you involved in groups on campus? Are you an athlete? Have you been in clubs? Any of those kind of things you want to put down, those organizations that you've been in. One of the reasons for is there's a lot of networking that goes on there. So I've seen on LinkedIn as well, I've seen people post that they are member lacrosse team, let's put it that way. And then other lacrosse team, other people involved in lacrosse, college lacrosse, reach out to them for a variety of different things. So you definitely want to put what you've done there. Education, your degree, what you're going for, and then when you're planning on graduating. Volunteer experience and causes, if you have not already put it under experience, this is another place to put it. Your skills, there's a whole bunch of different things you can add here in skills, and then other people that you're friends with, that you network with, can go and add you as, or endorse you for those skills. Honors and awards, anything that you've gotten in that one. You can list your specific courses. Social media writing, or writing for social media, is usually a good one to list because it shows that you've had some experiences in this one. Otherwise, you can take this class and never want to brag about it ever again, and that's fine too. Any projects you've been about, internships, etc., and then you can get people to write you recommendations, and if that's something you're interested in, I'd be more than happy to do that. Just let me know. Okay, so that's your checklist. You've got to include all of those things in order to get full points on this assignment. Okay, that's what I will be using to evaluate it as well. I did want to show you one student example here real quick. This is listed under the student examples as well. So we have here student example, here's their social media person, here's their second year business admin, so they're a sophomore majoring business administration. They're saying what they're good at, what they've done before, their experience, the dates, they work for the newspaper, and then bullet point the various things that they've done, and they're being specific here. So that's really what you are looking for is, and then here's some courses that they've taken, some projects they've been a part of, clubs they've been in, and then they get some recommendations. You can also find other people at Belmont Abbey or other people that you know outside of that you can then connect with and link to. I personally, my own Belmont Abbey LinkedIn that I've created, I've connected with a lot of other professors as well as other students as well as other people across the country. So there's a lot of networking that goes through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is helpful in some areas and less helpful in others. Often in education, LinkedIn is not as helpful. So if you're an education major, maybe you won't find a job through LinkedIn, but maybe you will. Professor jobs, I definitely did not find any of my professor jobs through LinkedIn, but I still think it's important to have one, which is why I have one. If you look at mine, there are some things I need to improve on my own LinkedIn that I haven't taken the time to do so. So I'm not looking for perfection here, but I am looking for you to satisfy the requirements of that checklist that's here and make sure that you have all of those. So that is what you are doing this week. You do have a response due on, and if I go back here to the modules, and you can see in the modules, you do have, here's our assignments. You have a response due week on Wednesday, a viral reflection if you want. This is the first one where you find something that's gone viral on social media and you write about it. And then you also have your final LinkedIn due on Sunday for 100 points. So if you have any questions about any of that, what I'm looking for, etc., please send me a message. But other than that, happy writing your LinkedIn, and I'm excited to see them. Thanks so much, everyone.